The other day, I was trying to put together a 80s R&B playlist to listen to while I write. Because when I listen to certain 80s music, it makes me think about my childhood, and certain things from my childhood come up that I don't think about unless there's a tone that triggers it. Certain songs just trigger things in me, and it takes me to that time and place, and then I can write about that time and place clearly. Like I can write about it if you ask me, but like if that music is playing and it transports me to that time, I'm writing about it. And there's a song by James Ingram. I love James Ingram. It's an old R&B singer. He has a song called Just Once. And I didn't know, or I had forgotten that this song was a trigger for me, because I hide things from myself. I hide things from me that I feel like will trigger me. And I had forgotten that this was like, I'm like the Winter Soldier. This is a nerd thing, fanboy thing. Captain America's best friend was taken by Nazis or Hydra, and they trained him to be a killer, and he had a set of words in his head where if they said them, in sequence, they could turn him into a killer. Not a killer, but I hide things from myself to keep from triggering myself. But this James Ingram Just Once song, I said, "Ooh, James Ingram," and then I played the song, and then it took me exactly to, I'm gonna say the second grade, maybe the third grade. I'm gonna say probably the third grade. There's this movie called, let me see if I can pull it up. It's called The Last American Virgin. It came out in 1982. The movie is an hour and 32 minutes long. It's a rom-com. It's an 80s movie. It was, fluff. It was kids in high school, trying to get laid and everybody trying to have sex, because that was the whole conquest in high school in the 80s, and then in the 90s, and then 2000, and 2010s, and then so forth. Because kids want to fuck. Who knew? Who knew? So this movie was about some kids who spent their entire summer trying to have sex, lose their virginity. And one of the guys didn't really want to lose his virginity the way everybody else was losing their virginity, because he was a romantic. He wanted to fall in love. He wanted to be in a relationship. He wanted it to mean something. As a guy, you can't come out and say, "Yo, man, I really want my first time to mean something." Unless you're AC Green. For those who don't know, AC Green is an NBA ball player. Hall of Famer, probably. Should be, at least. At least for having a Jerry curl. AC Green played for the Lakers. He played for the Miami Heat. He was an all-star ball player. He looked like a grandfather in the league. He's like an old dude. Even in the league, even when he was young, he looked old. Because dudes in the 70s and the 80s, they looked like they already had children. Like Magic Johnson looked like he had a whole family when he got drafted by the Lakers. But AC Green allegedly was a virgin his entire NBA career. Here's the sad part about our society. And here's where the conversation comes up. I should not be shocked that a 40-year-old man plus didn't have sex. The Lifetime movie that they're going to do about him, or BET Plus, whatever fuck, somebody's going to do a movie about AC Green, because you have to. It's a black man in the NBA, tall, with money, and AC Green should be the richest NBA ball player in NBA history, because he did not have sex. He was not married. He didn't have a wife. And this dude was in the league, surrounded by Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Dwayne Wade, and he was in the league. I don't know if he played with Dwayne Wade, but I know he played for the Miami Heat. I don't know. I just know that he was in the league and he didn't have any sex, so he should be filthy rich because he didn't have to spend no money to fly nobody in. He didn't have to spend no money for tickets at a game and buy stuff for the women to look good, for them to sit on the sidelines so they could chip. I mean, because that's what really happens, right? I mean, let's be honest. If you're a guy in the NBA or in the NFL and you got like disposable cash, you want your own personal cheerleaders. The difference is you have sex with these cheerleaders, and you have different cheerleaders in different cities. And then certain girls are sitting in these seats, and certain girls are sitting at half court. Some girls are sitting on the floor, some are in the box. Like you play your cards, and you roll your dice, your dick dice, and you see what you land on, right? You paying chicks to say you're the man. Do what you want with your money, pimp. But AC Green didn't do that. AC Green was just like, I'm gonna get my money, keep my head down. Like, I am a citizen. But I shouldn't be shocked. I shouldn't make a big deal about the fact that this man chose not to have sex. It's not a requirement to have sex, especially if you don't feel it or you're not in love or it don't mean something. And this kid in the movie wanted the sex to mean something because every time they would get some sex, he would either something would happen where it would be his turn and then the shit would fall apart, or it just be it's an 80s rom-com, and 80s rom-coms, y'all can be mad about it, but it was all about showing women's breasts and their bikinis, guys having their shirts off with their hair looking like fucking Don Johnson from Miami Vice, and beer and chugging and no black people, like maybe one black guy, and that black guy delivers pizza or some shit like that in the movie, but he's not like a focal point in the movie, unless it's a horror movie and they die at the beginning. So this kid wants to have sex, but he doesn't want to have sex the way his friends are having sex. And then he meets a girl that's out of his league, right? But she deals with him because she gets pregnant, and the guy she got pregnant by didn't want to deal with her. So the guy, being Captain Save a Girl, came down and like took her to a cabin and helped her, and like he took care of the chick. Was there when the girl was born, when the baby was born, and when the boyfriend decided to come back, she dumped the guy and went with the boyfriend again. And he's riding home from school or something, but he's in the car driving in a station wagon, and he's crying his fucking eyes out. Like this dude is like, when I say crying, like he's just driving and he's crying, and the credits are rolling on this side, and James Ingram Just Once comes on. The song starts off like this: I did my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. 'Cause here we are, right where we were before. Some shit like that. Like, I don't even want to know the words. I just know the opening is, I did my best wasn't good enough. You hear that shit, you already like, at what point in this song do I commit fucking suicide? Because god damn, that's fucking heavy. And every time I listen to this song, it makes me think of that kid, because I identify with that kid. I was the guy in high school, in junior high school, in elementary, in kindergarten, in preschool, where if I saw a girl who was sad, I would like try to cheer you up with laughter. I wasn't a big dude. I wasn't going to cheer you up by going to beat somebody up. I cheered you up with laughter. And I remember in the 9th grade, I was in love with this chick. I can't say her name, but I was in love with this chick. But she was dating this other guy, but they would break up every other day. and she would call me, and I would just sit on the phone with her for like hours, like a goofy motherfucker, and let her listen. I would listen to her tell me about what she was going through with her boyfriend. She in 8th grade. I'm in 9th grade. I'm up here fucking counseling and shit. Like, what? I mean, I was in love with this girl. When I say in the 90s, she looked like what every bad chick in the 90s looked like. Cute, short, thick, had like, the latest hairstyle. She had the cute girl smile. Like, she wasn't like, but she wasn't like, like it was just enough. Like, she showed some teeth, she smiled, she was grown. I wrote a poem for this chick. I sat there and wrote a poem about her. And the poem was about how she treated me like a can of peaches. I was like, you treat me like a can of peaches. It's like you bought them, you don't really want them because what you really want, you're eating right now. But when you can't have it, you come and get me. But I was like, you tease me, you'll come. Sometimes you'll look at the can and be like, oh, I think I want them. And then you'll put me back on the shelf. And then you're like, oh, I think I want them. And I'm like, ooh, today is going to be the day. And then you'll like put me back on the shelf because you get a refill or what you really want comes back. And then there's been times where you like open the can up and I thought you was going to eat me. And then you're like, oh, you brought it. And then you put me in a Tupperware dish. And now I'm in the back of the refrigerator. But I'm spoiling. I'm getting old. I'm getting sick. Like I'm expiring. This is in the 9th grade. I'm having this conversation. I'm telling this girl that I am deteriorating. You are not taking my heart serious. Like I really want to date you and be your boyfriend, but you keep telling me about this dude that's doing you wrong. Then I had to listen. I think he was in the 10th grade. She was in 9th grade. I mean, she was in 8th grade. He's in 10th grade. So he was an older guy, older than the 9th grade. Because he was like, if you can get 10th grade, why the fuck would you fuck with 9th grade? Then I heard she was having sex with this guy, and I was like, God damn, y'all having sex too? Like I gotta have that in my head while I'm having a conversation with you. Now is it bad enough I gotta try to envision what I think you look like naked. Now I gotta envision you having sex with somebody while you're naked. Oh, you're killing me, girl. But I sat on the phone with her every day. She wanted to talk about, you are so funny, Maranzia. You make me laugh. And I'm like, I want to be your man. Why won't you just fucking be with me? I'm making you laugh. And she was, I don't know, but that James Ingram song, Just Once, and this Last American Virgin movie, I can't even watch this movie. Like this I'm looking at the picture of the movie right now, and it's just got my stomach in knots. Like, cause I'm remembering DC what. Oh God. I think about those days. Like I go back to that day. Like, oh God, I remember that day. I did my best, but I guess my best was, and then I'm sick. I should probably be one of them things. It's like Fear Factor for me now. Like I'm listening to songs and watching stuff so I can like get over it. Like if I can get through the song and I not get triggered by it, because I was in love with this girl in 9th grade. I'm risking it talking to her, because when I say she was bad. Like every guy in that school, when they found out she was single, it was like a mob trying to get to her the next day, like blah, 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 blah. And I knew even though she had broken up with this guy, she would not see the value in me or how bad I wanted to be with her. And she would get mad at me when I didn't want to be her friend. Like she would be like, why you not being my friend? And she would guilt me for not being her friend. But like, I can't, it hurts to be your friend, because you only see me as a friend. Like, I'm giving you my best jokes, all my material for free, girl, and this is how you doing me. So I think I'm gonna watch this movie and see how the ending treats me. And I'm gonna listen to James Ingram just once. Like, go listen to James Ingram just once and not think to yourself, this man was in pain when he wrote this song. You got the best songs are written in pain. The best songs written by men are when they are in pain. Look at John Legend. John Legend first album, he had been through something. He had cheated, fucked up in love. Songs were painful. Second album, even the second album was a little painful. Then he got happy, cheery. Then they became dance songs. No Ordinary People, painful song. Heaven's Only Knows. Again, Doing It Again. That song he did on the second album, Doing It Again. Oh my God. But A Man in Pain writing a song, amazing. It's amazing. But yeah, that song triggered me.